Welcome to our special series, Celebrating Immigration Heroes. Today I'm thrilled to interview Harshita, who is a highly driven and hard-working lawyer and an immigration advisor. Harshita was admitted to High Court in 2023 and she got her license as an immigration advisor in 2013. She studied at University of Auckland while being a busy mom of two daughters. Harshita,
Yes,
it's an honor to interview you and welcome to our series.
thank you.
Let's talk about your journey. When you came to New Zealand, how you came to New Zealand, like what was the motivation, and what are the early stage challenges that you faced?
Well, I came to New Zealand way back in 2005. Seems like ages ago, but then it just feels yesterday. When I came here, it was I got married and I came here with my husband. Initial challenges, definitely. It was all about visas and permits and everything back then. They were called permits and not visas. So it was you first apply for a permit, and then if you had to change it into a visa, you had to pay extra money to get it changed into a visa so you could travel outside the country. And then I felt all our lives, the people I knew, in the very beginning, everybody's lives revolved around immigration. Everybody's. They were like, oh, I need a visa in 2 months' time. Oh, I need to travel, but I need a visa. Oh my God, I have completed my study. I don't know what to do next. Oh my God, I don't have a job, but I really need a job to get a visa. And so it was like anything and everything. The whole conversations within friends just revolved about visas, and I was like, I just wish I could do something to help them, and I myself was stuck in a lot of immigration processes, but luckily because I had the knack for doing the paperwork myself, and so I did all my visa processing and everything by myself. So there was always this gap that I felt. I just wish I could make them understand that, don't make it such a difficult thing. We can sit down, process the questions one by one, understand what they are asking, and then you answer accordingly. And that is how it sort of, everything started to fall into place, and it just worked out.
And I think that is why there are a lot of immigrants who are part of immigration industry because
Yes.
they've gone through the process.
The whole
They
process by themselves.
Yeah. And was it easy for you to get your and your husband's visa, or you faced any difficulties in that process?
Well, we did face difficulties. I mean, there were times when we were expecting a 2-year visa to come through, but we just got the immigration officer called and say, hey, I'm not satisfied. And I was like, okay, please just don't decline the visa, because everything revolves around that at this stage. And but thankfully, we kept getting visas. But yes, definitely we faced issues, and that is what gave us the confidence and the motivation to keep going. Yeah.
And you got your licenses in 2013.
Well, I got my license in 2013. My husband got it when the industry was being regulated. So he got it in 2009.
Oh, wow.
Applied for it in 2008. I think 2008 is when the industry was, we got the regulations and stuff. But yes, we have been assisting people before the industry was regulated as well.
Cool. So how many people you have assisted so far? How many
It's
clients?
not on my fingers. It would be, there are way too many people that we've, touched lives. Yeah, there are a lot of them. Way too many.
Why do you think people should come to an immigration advisor?
For their experience, absolutely. Experience is one thing that we might have a little bit more than what you as a person or somebody who hasn't dealt with immigration before, they wouldn't know. And yes, we've had a lot of experience for us, and we know how to present your documents basically. So it's not about just collecting and pushing it forward. There is a lot more to deal with immigration, which there are people who have absolutely no idea. And over the years, I've realized this. I was like, oh my God, I just wish you hadn't done this. So those are the things that you feel for. But we definitely have a little bit more experience than what you think we have. But and that helps with immigration.
A lot of experience, not little bit.
No, we've got our seniors in the industry sitting as well, and I'm sure we are way junior than them. But yes, respecting everybody's experience, yes. At least we definitely have a little bit more experience than what the client thinks. Yeah.
So, for the sake of understanding of ordinary people who are looking for an advisor, could you please talk about any case where you think that you, as an advisor, or your experience as an advisor, helped that particular client achieve the visa? Otherwise, they would have got a decline.
To be very honest, over the years there have been a lot of these cases, and it's ranging from your visitor's visa to student visa to work, residence, even with the immigration appeals. There were cases where there was this wife who was wanting to get the husband into New Zealand, applied at least 3-4 times by themselves, and then eventually when they came to us, she had a massive file of documents that she had provided to immigration in the last 1 year or so, with absolutely no result. I was like, oh my god, I'll have to go through this big file here. But then all I did was pick up the phone, called immigration, and figured out what was the actual issue that was happening. And then all we had to do was just recognize that issue and work towards sorting that out. And then we asked some specific questions to the couple, and then it came across as that there was a certain gap area which they were not answering, and which is exactly what immigration was looking for. And every time their application was being declined on that particular information that they basically just did not understand how to address this. They could not even identify themselves as that being the gap. And so we just collected all their documents, put it down on papers, and made sure that we explained to the immigration officer that this particular thing is what you're looking for, is actually present here. It's just the way of informing immigration, and it all worked out. He did get the visa, he came here, then he came to visit the office, and it was like, oh my, he just couldn't believe that he was sitting in New Zealand with his wife. So, and it means a lot to that couple, so yeah.
4 years back, I remember I was speaking to you and you told me, oh, I got admission at the University of Auckland and I'm going to study law. And I was like, okay, really? Now, after 4 years, last year when we spoke, you said, oh, you know what, my law degree is done. That was so cool. And I was like, look at you, bit by bit, so many steps you have taken, and you are now a qualified, officially a lawyer. Which is truly inspiring for so many. What was the motivation? Like, why did you pursue the law degree?
It dates back to when I was in the college in India. So the motivation to study was always there. When I came to New Zealand again, as I mentioned earlier, there was this. Everybody's talking about immigration, law, migration, everything. It was all just part of our existence in New Zealand. And so I did way back in 2009, I think, or 2008, we did I did a particular paper. It was called a business paper back then, and in immigration practice. So this was from Messi University, because at that moment our immigration advisor regulatory authority was being and process. It was in the parliament and the final reading, everything was happening, and it was just so exciting to know that there are so many rules coming and stuff. And then so after completing that paper gave me the motivation to actually take admission in Bay of Plenty Polytechnic, as it was called back then. Tohomai was called Bay of Plenty Polytechnic. So I was one of the first batches who took admission to study the immigration practice, this certificate in immigration advice. And when we passed out, it felt, in 2012 was the first batch we passed out, and it was quite a feeling back then. And I was like, wow, so I got into immigration industry. I mean, I was already working in the immigration industry before it being regulated as well. I was assisting my husband. I was already into it, and and from there, it just took off. And while working in the immigration myself, I realized, oh my God, there's still a lot of gap that people need to understand a lot more than just immigration. For example, there's a lot of employment law, family law. So there is a lot, and that's what made me realize I just wish I was in that position to give people a lot more understanding about some basic laws. And where I felt there was a lot of gap. Over the years we've got female clients come to us with domestic violence. They've been affected with domestic violence, their children. So I always felt I wish there was something else I could do for them, just apart from just helping with immigration cases. So and so those are the kind of things that somehow I felt, okay, yes, I need to educate myself a little bit more, and that's how I just kept going and going, and yeah, here I am, and hopefully I can continue this in the future.
That's cool, because now I think you can also, because your understanding of other land laws is better,
Yeah.
and you know them, so you can also help complex cases.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because the immigration case officer only handles and with the immigration law, but
Yeah.
you can take the cases to high court, and you can take the cases to district courts, where tribunals,
Exactly.
where you can
Yeah.
fight the case.
Yes.
And by looking at the other land laws that applies to that
Absolutely,
particular case.
and there's just a lot. I mean, with immigration comes a lot of many other laws as well. That and I believe I can help my clients a lot more than what I was just able to earlier.
Awesome, that's so
Yeah.
cool. Is there anything that you would like to improve in your practice?
Well, improve in my practice, I want to improve into myself, because I tend to get very emotional with people. I have, obviously I laugh with my clients. I have cried a lot with my clients. So, and there are times when a letter comes and I'm like, I get emotional reading that letter, because I was like, okay, now I need to translate this letter to my client. I get absolutely emotional when them. It's like, okay, why am I the one to give them this news that this is happening with immigration? So I tend to get a lot. There are a lot of emotions, and this is what I really need to improve, because I need to keep my emotions aside and talk to my clients in a very professional manner and in a legal manner, so that they can understand. So and I've been given, basically told this by other advisor in my practice as well, that no, you need to you need to keep your emotions aside and then do the work, because it just makes a lot of difference.
What inspires me most about you, you are a full-time licensed advisor, like you're working, you studied full-time, you are also mother of 2 daughters.
Yeah.
What is the secret behind
Secret
of achieving all this all together, so many fronts open?
No, it was definitely time management is one of them. But when I started my University of Auckland, my younger one was only 2 years old. I had to make sure that I gave her a lot of attention during the day. After putting them to bed is when I would sit and study. So my study time that I could just get by myself on weekdays was pretty much from 9 p.m. until whenever I would fall asleep, like 2-3 in the morning. So that was my time where I could actually sit and study and make sure that I just do it. And what kept me going during that bit was definitely the motivation that when my girls grow up, at least they would know that yes, my mother has worked hard. She's reached, and at least I'll be able to tell them as well that look, at least work around where you can sort of at least be proud of what your mother has achieved, and it's not like I'm a 20-year-old who is still studying or something, but yes, there are ways and means to improve yourself professionally, and I just tried doing that. I know a lot of mothers out there are doing the same, so I just can't take all the credibility to myself. Definitely not, because there are a lot many females, lot many mothers who are in the same boat as me. Yeah.
You have fought like a tigress. I mean, no, how many people and how many other women would strive for it? And tell me, what was behind? What exactly you were trying to prove to the world, or which front actually you're fighting?
You're hitting the nerve.
Because I think it's deeper than that.
It is absolutely deeper than that. There is a lot of things. I mean, I started my degree even before COVID, but there was a time, probably 2 years into my 4-year degree, I felt I was very close to giving up. And I was like, because I just couldn't do so much, everything, there was so much happening around me, and I was like, okay, um, I was sitting down and I was just making sure what keeps me going, what keeps me going. And then I was like, during COVID, I realized there are, I would read articles where there was a lot going around in the community, and people were going through. COVID was kind of bringing people together, as well as there was a lot of family issues happening, and there were a lot of divorces happening as well. And I felt, oh my God, what would be going through their minds? What is happening? So there was a lot of, and I feel a lot for women who are sort of pushed in a corner, pushed in that situation where there is nothing they can do about it. And there were a lot of people I came across during my journey as being an immigration advisor, where I was asked many questions about women who are in this particular situation, and I was like, maybe I could sort of do something, even this much of difference if I can make in one person's life, that would sort of make a lot of difference for me personally. So I was like, okay, let's can that keep me going, and surely was, because I have two daughters. Obviously they are at that growing up stage. They need to understand that empathy, and that compassion. There are a lot of talks about, we are in New Zealand, so there are a lot of talks about Maori and Pacifica women, but there's not a lot of talk about Indian women or Southeast Asian women who are suffering, who would be in the same situation, but they don't speak up.
So you want to do something more fulfilling,
Absolutely.
something which is
Absolutely.
greater impact,
Absolutely.
and which is fulfilling.
Exactly. And so there's a lot of work yet to be done, but getting there step by step. Yeah, one step at a time. Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of opening so many fronts? Like, your energy is dissipated.
Absolutely, energy is everywhere, but energy is everywhere, a lot of places. So I just need to and that's what I have to learn. I just need to gather everything at one place and then move forward, and this is again what we're learning. So just don't spread out, concentrate on where I really want to, but then again, you take a step and then a lot of fronts open, and then it's like, okay, which way do I want to go? What is more high priority at this stage? Is it this one or is it this one? Should I go here? Should I go there? Rights of women versus rights of children. So eventually it's like, I'm still getting there. I will definitely get there one day and very soon.
Amazing. And what is the impact of this strike? Like, how do you see your family and other people around you, or sometimes people, or is there any impact on health or anything that because you're working when you're so hard, you're so focused for so many years. Anything?
My husband has been an inspiration. He's been very supportive throughout the years. Obviously, I didn't raise my two girls just by myself. It was him and his assistants all throughout as well. So yes, he's quite helpful in that sense, and it does take a health toll on you, because yes, you have to keep popping pills and moving on, but yeah.
So in your career, is there any moment that really inspired you? Any case that you did?
There are a lot of instances like that. I mean, in terms of, because our immigration industry is very volatile. Today, we are a very policy-driven industry. One rule today might not be there tomorrow. So over the years, yes, we've helped a lot of people achieve. There were many applications which was like, say, just about we pushed the clients. I was like, let's do this ASAP. Don't wait. And they were like, oh, we still need time to do this. And I was like, okay, we don't have so much of time. You really need to do it today, or it's And still, at the end of the day, if you don't see that thing coming from them, we just made sure we submitted the application, and provide the explanation why we've not provided this. At least that application was in. Tomorrow the rules changed, then I know they won't be affected. And it would have made a lot of difference if they would not have submitted the application, or they would have waited another week or even another day.
Timely submission.
Absolutely. Very, very important. Because time is very critical in immigration.
Any achievement that you are like proudest achievement? Anything that you're so proud of?
To be very honest, every application that we do is a very, it creates that pride in itself that yes, I have achieved now, no matter how difficult that application or how easy would that application would have been. To see that smile on that client's face, to see finally them meeting their child, it just makes a lot of difference when you see that happiness on their face. I mean, there was this Sri Lankan client we were dealing with. The child had a lot of medical problems and they were not able to come. The mother was like absolutely desperate to get the child here to New Zealand. And eventually, after all those medical issues, finally when their visa was approved and the child came to New Zealand, the mother had tears in her eyes. So and tears of joy, and I couldn't stop crying as well, because it made me emotional as well. Okay, at least I'm glad I was able to help them. So every little gesture, it does make a difference.
It's quite a fulfilling career.
Absolutely it is, because no 2 days are the same here. No 2 days are the same, and that is what makes us get up in the morning and get to work, because we don't know what lies ahead. I mean, not though technically it is not our job as an immigration advisor, but I end up counseling a lot of our clients as well. Which is, again, I feel hopefully my law degree has helped me in counseling people to the extent that this is not the end of the world. Because I know a lot of our clients who were struggling here in New Zealand for visas, for getting through their day-to-day lives. But the moment they moved out of New Zealand into another country, or say go back to their home country, they actually flourished. But they didn't realize this until while they were in New Zealand. When they left New Zealand, they realized, oh my God, I wasted actually 5 years of my life in New Zealand. I was better off in my own country. So or for that matter, any other country. So it's not like immigration is the end of the world, and everybody is obviously striving for a better life. But what most people don't realize is that if it's not working for you here, move place, maybe go to another country, and then you might end up, in a better place. In a better place. So just don't think life or anything is. In fact, there are a lot of people I know who, would like, oh, I wish I get residence, and then I would do everything in this. And even when they are resident visa holders, they're not able to, achieve what they used to say they were, and eventually they end up moving to another country. So it's like, yes, this is there, it removes a hurdle, but still life goes on. You need to work to, get through that day-to-day phase of your life. But this is not the end of the world.
I really like it when you said that sometimes we have to counsel with our clients. Do you think women have an edge, like when it comes to counseling, as compared to men? And the reason I asked this question is because maybe some other women who are entering the industry help them.
Absolutely, it will. And I definitely believe, I end up making deeper connections with my clients a lot more when I, sort of counsel them, because they believe they can. It is all about connections. It's not like, you're paying me, I do the work and move on. It's not about that. So developing connections is what matter. And I'm very, very proud to say that I would say me and my husband together, we've worked with so many clients, and we have touched their lives, and it's very proud feeling that we have been connected. Our clients way back in 2010, 2011, who we knew back then, they still are connected with us. Through whatever means, they are still connected with us. Anything they have questions, they still call us. And they're like, oh, do you remember us? Of course I do remember you. You've been our client for so long. And they feel nice when coming from that over the years we've spent, helped so many people, but we still remember them because there's a connection that we've developed. And I feel that's very, very important.
When you come across a case officer and you feel that there is a bias against your client, what is your approach then? What do you do? How do you remove that bias?
We expect the immigration officer to be trained enough to keep their bias aside. practically there are times when it doesn't happen, and all you can do is try and explain it on paper or pick up the phone and talk to them and explain them. All we can do is just explain the policy to them, but there is nothing we can do sitting here on this side to remove their bias from here. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. We've dealt with some immigration advisors who have done that in the past, and I believe that's when the expertise of putting everything on paper and getting in touch with the senior advisors, or we've seen that happen in declined residence applications as well.
Is there any way you can report it to the senior managers or the minister or somebody senior who can look into this matter?
Yes, there are ways and means to go about it. There are some feedback and complaints process where you can go as I said, we had declined residence applications where I felt it was purely biased, and so we approached Immigration Protection Tribunal and explained them again on paper why we believe the case officer was incorrect and the decision they made, and we were successful with the tribunal. It went back to immigration. It was seen by a different case officer, and the outcome was positive. So it helps with a different eyesight, which is why I expect that immigration officer to keep their biases aside and look at the application. So again, that's this unconscious bias hanging around.
Is there any message for Immigration Minister Erica? Is there any way you think you can suggest any improvements? Is there anything that she has done you like?
Oh, absolutely. Erica has been a great minister. She's been very vocal about the migrants during COVID, and that was very kind of her to be promoting that. National Party as a whole is being, Erica's national minister. So definitely from my perspective, all I can think is for the immigration industry. I know it might sound weird, but really need the immigration officers to be a little bit more trained. I hope the way that they can do is because over the years, yes, we've seen a lot of immigration officers come and go. There are still some immigration officers who's still in the industry. Like there are a few who we met back in 2011. They're still in the industry, which feels really good. But yes, there is a lot of movement happening within MBIE, and I just wish Erica could sort of put in more training, I believe, with the immigration officers, as well as developing that industry partnership. Them versus us. It's not like it needs to be one industry as a whole helping the migrant community, helping New Zealand as a whole. So I believe there's some work that could be done on that part. Yeah.
Awesome. I hope your message will reach Erica and there will be some action around it.
Hopefully, yeah.
When other people who are looking for a good immigration advisors, and there are so many around. What is your suggestion for them? What is your advice for them? How to select a good advisor?
At the end of the day, if you have to trust a person with your matters, with your immigration matters, it is very important to understand. I believe connectivity again. It comes down to connectivity. Are you able to connect with the person who is going to represent you? So that connectivity, experience, everything, it's all there. Majority of the immigration advisors would be educated enough, would have the experience. But if you were to ask me for my personal, if I had to go to somebody to do the job, I feel if I can connect with the person well, then I'm able to explain my situation well, and they'll be able to represent you well. So that connectivity is important. So all I would say is to anybody looking for an immigration advisor, make sure you connected well with them.
How do you plan to keep pace with the technological advancements and improve your processes?
Technology definitely is very important in today's world, but I still believe, as I said, I believe in connections. I'm a very emotional person, I told you in the very beginning. Technology can never buy emotions. So yes, technology, as much as it is important to keep you connected and get you new clients, but it is very important to meet face to face, to put a face to the name, get yourselves correct, and I believe that is what makes it count. that emotional touch, that face-to-face touch.
Face to face, real time.
Real time action. And if technology is helping with that real time connections, it's the best thing that can happen.
Thank you, Harshita, for your time today.
No problem.
It was wonderful interviewing you, knowing you. I know you. Harshita and we have been together, and perhaps our audience they don't know that in 2013 she did she got her license.
Yeah.
And in 2014 she came to us and she requested to build a CRM system or a file management system, which is today we call it Easy Migrate. So
Yes.
Harshita was the one who came up with the idea, and she said, Anna, there is nothing in the industry. We want to manage our files and documents, and we need a platform where we can keep our stuff in a very organized manner. And maybe Harshita can tell more about it.
Yeah, that was a very exciting journey. I believe, because I would always keep asking yourself and Umar Bhai that, there is a lack of, CRMs where we could, that documenting systems. And we kept talking, and it just, Umar Bhai came up with the idea of this, and it all, I guess it was in the living room when we were all sitting,
correct.
and that idea just popped up, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what we want. And I'm just so proud that it's actually gone up all the way here, and
from
the hard
beginning.
work that you put in there, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, and I'm just so incredibly happy and proud that you've achieved, and here we are.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Harshita has been giving us a tremendous amount of positive and also meaningful feedback. So we kept on enhancing the system as well. I highly value my friendship with Harshita, and I very highly valued the fact that I know her, and so I thought to interview her today so other people also get to know the hardworking, highly driven, passionate Harshita.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.